We're here for Ministry of Truth at Senator Barnaby Joyce's house. It's his front yard. It's beautiful St George, Queensland. How do you think the health of our democracy is going at the moment? Are we a strong democracy, or are we getting more or less democratic?
We're getting less. You've got to be ever vigilant about democracy. This is about the apathy. If you are apathetic about democracy, you will lose it, for sure. The power of pressure groups, whether they're big business pressure groups, the major oil companies, the major retailers, to affect the political debate on both sides of politics. The movement of the two political parties towards a centrist position. The knocking out of dissent, you know, where if you dissent, you're not a team player. We're going to get rid of you. But what that does is it allows certain pressure groups to have immense power because they only have to control a couple of people, and they control the democratic process, and that's unhealthy. There's always it's the innate nature of humans that they will try to always believe that they are entitled to more power than what they've got. They'll always be looking at a mechanism of centralising, controlling power. The democratic process that we've got understands that human frailty and is always looking at a check and balance form of dispersing that power and keeping that power in a myriad of places, so to protect your democratic right. Mr Howard is a good person. I think Kevin Rudd is a good person, but there is immense pressures. It doesn't just stop with them. There's immense pressures that are working on even them. And the only thing that protects those people from those pressures is the voter. So if the voter is apathetic and switched off and just sort of blindly goes along and, you know, I'll just go with the flow, then you'll lose it. The other democracies have had the same problems. You know, when Roosevelt had to take on Rockefeller, you know, Rockefeller was getting to a point where he was just about running the country. You know, in 1905, he owned Standard Oil, 95% of the oil. He was sort of determining policy. They needed strong politicians to say, no, you're not going to run the show. We're going to bring in antitrust legislation. We're going to make sure that the people run the democracy. And that battle is always going on.
What would you say to young people, many of whom are these days thought to be disillusioned with politics?
Well, you're disillusioned because you're looking at their picture. You don't like their illusion. So paint your own picture and become inspired by that. You know, paint your own picture of what you want the world to be, and then really dedicate yourself to it. Don't think it's going to be easy. And you got to look at yourself in the mirror a bit. It's a bit selfish on your behalf. If you're going to say it's all too much, I'm going to be disillusioned. Well, disillusioned is just code for lazy. Lazy means I know I could change it, but I just don't want to. I don't want to, put myself on the line. I don't want to compromise my money, my lifestyle, my free time by trying to make the world a different place. I'm going to say, I'm disillusioned. Buy me another beer. Or I'm disillusioned and I'll have another latte with one of those little swirly type of pastry things there. And then I'm going to read some magazine and I'm going to have a wonderful conversation tonight over a glass of wine. And that's not changing anything. That's just making yourself feel good.
Senator Barnaby Joyce, thanks for talking to the Minister of Truth.